You know us. Look at my diamonds, they dance. Petro cocaine is the fashion.
Hey, what's going on, people? Your boy, man Mike, coming at you guys with yet another Atlanta Falcons video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come chat with your boy. Always in the comments. Love to have a chat with any of you guys about anything, especially Atlanta Falcons football, Georgia football, Braves, Hawks. It doesn't matter, man. Just let me know what's up. But again, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But let's get straight to it, man. 3 things that stood out to me in the Atlanta Falcons. Gonna kind of go over my 3 keys to victory. And the first one was balance. Balance. When you look at the balance for the Atlanta Falcons, I thought this was going to be very important, especially when you have an offensive coordinator like Dirk Koetter, who loves to throw the dang on ball. This was definitely in need. If the Falcons want to get the best out of this team, they have to be balanced. You cannot have this offensive line standing back, throwing the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game. That's a recipe for a disaster, especially when you have an older quarterback like Matt Ryan and you have an offensive line that's still trying to gel. The run game is not consistent. You have to establish and have balance. Balance for the offense, the offensive line, and balance for the defense. You have no idea how important balance is for a defense. It keeps teams off of the field. It keeps teams off of the field. You do not want the opponent's offense on the field, for anything over 70 plays. Anything over 70 plays for a defense, it's going to go downhill. So you want it as low as possible so the defense can get a rest. A lot of 3 and outs. When offenses are getting 3 and out, that means your defense is going to be on the field much. And with our defense, our front, we're not built to constantly be on the field because we don't have a ton of depth up front. So when you establish depth with the offense, you establish balance with the offense, keep that clock turning, man. It's better off for the Atlanta Falcons. And then pass rush, and it's better off for the team, all right? And the plays, I like this, all right? Dirk Koetter did a pretty good job. 34 passes, 32 runs in the Falcons. Ran for about 150 yards. 150 yards. That's amazing, okay? That's amazing for this team, man. This is just, look, man, this is what we want from the Atlanta Falcons. Establish the run so Matt Ryan can utilize the play action and the short underneath route. We finally got Devontae Freeman doing what he does best, and that's keep that clock churning, baby. Keep that clock churning. I think we did my boy Pat, he did a breakdown on Devontae Freeman, and when he was healthy and the Falcons were, doing what they do best, he was the main source of the Atlanta Falcons first downs. It was somewhere in 60% of Atlanta Falcons first downs came via Devontae Freeman. Just think about that. 60% of the Atlanta Falcons first downs came via Devontae Freeman. So if we can establish the run, keep that clock churning, let Devontae Freeman get those 4, 5, 10, then turn around, get those, those chunk plays every once in a while, but you want to get that running game established so you can keep that clock going. Get more opportunities for Calvin Ridley, get more opportunities for Julio Jones. We don't need Julio Jones to, have 1,600 yards every year. We don't need it. We have a plethora of talent on the offense. Austin Hooper, Calvin Ridley, Zacchaeus is making it. Zacchaeus is making plays now. The Falcons have weapons. Russell Gage looks amazing in a slot. He's a great route runner. So if the Falcons can establish that run, get Devontae Freeman, get these guys going, get them running, this team could be very good. All right, this team could be very good, and you don't have to worry about being the most explosive team in the league. You want to be the most complete team in the league. That's what a lot of fans want. That's what a lot of fans, I want to employ to fans. We don't have to be the most explosive, not the most exciting. You have to be the most balanced team in the NFL. That's how you win championships. Balance. So Dirk Koetter did a tremendous job as far as establishing balance with the Atlanta Falcons. The second one that stood out to me and kind of go over um, the three keys to victory. Uh, Austin Hooper, Devontae Freeman, and a short passing game. Um, I think one thing for me is that when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, you look at Matt Ryan as a quarterback, he is not the same quarterback. Anybody can look at Matt Ryan and say, okay, no, he's not slowing down. No, he's not, to the point where he's a Drew Brees or he's a Phillip Rivers or a Tom Brady. You can see the decline on these guys greatly, and it's a tremendous impact. Matt Ryan still has at least 3 years in his prime. At the very least, 3 years in his prime, and he's going to, in order to maximize his potential, maximize his next 4 or 5 years with the Atlanta Falcons. You can't continue to pretend like he's not going to get older. All right, he's going to get older. Matt Ryan is going to get older. All right. So when you look at it, man, we need to establish the run and we need to establish the short intermediate pass around. Julio Jones is going to get older. He's getting older. He's still Julio Jones, but he's going to get older. And he's going to be an impact player. He's still going to be a great player. So when you look at it, the Atlanta Falcons have to continue to establish the run and establish that short intermediate route. And this is what Austin Hooper. I've seen a lot of mess on Twitter. I've seen a lot of mess. Mark Zeno, for one. Mark Zero. Talking about that Austin Hooper isn't as good as Dirk Koetter. He's not an impact player. He can't make plays. Like, bro, have you seen Austin Hooper plays? There's a reason why teams are calling the Atlanta Falcons to get a hold of an Austin Hooper. And you trying to tell me that he isn't a George Kittle? George Kittle is a wonderful tight end. He may be the best tight end in the league, or one of. But no one can tell me that Austin Hooper isn't an impact player. Just look at it. He's a Pro Bowler. Look at his numbers. Look at his numbers. George Kittle may be the most complete tight end in the league, but no one can tell me that Austin Hooper isn't a great tight end. No one can look me in the face and say Austin Hooper isn't an impact player. So what stood out to me in this game, as far as the short intermediate routes, I thought Devontae Freeman catching those passes underneath kind of helped Matt Ryan, and for one, the pass protection. The pass protection. I think that was really helped the Atlanta Falcons as far as the short intermediate routes. The Falcons had to establish that, and they did a wonderful job of getting Devontae Freeman going with the running game as well as the short intermediate routes to kind of get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands. You don't want him taking too many sacks. We can't have one of those games where he's getting sacked 9 times out of the game. So we got to find ways to get that ball out of his hand, and I think Dirk Koetter did a wonderful job. And the last one is the tackling and secondary. One thing that stood out to me with this Atlanta Falcons team and the win against the Carolina Panthers is that they did a wonderful job. They did a wonderful job in the secondary. The secondary did a wonderful job. Desmond Trufant, he went out with a broken forearm, but for the most he played most of the game, but he did a wonderful job. Isaiah Oliver, Kendall Sheffield, DeMonte Casey, Keanu. I was about to say Keanu Neal, but Ricardo Allen. Those guys did a wonderful job holding the Carolina Panthers, overall team for the most part. Ian Thomas made a couple of plays, but that's only because of Devondre Campbell. He's not really a guy that you want in coverage, but for the most part, the Falcons secondary held up, and they did a great job. So when you look at it, man, the secondary helped tremendously, and it helped Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley. Those guys had 2 sacks apiece, and this is what it means when you have 2 guys in a system that they're finally starting to get it. They're finally starting to get it. I know a lot of people like, bro, this is Carolina. All right, we said the same thing about the Bucks. We were just gonna run over the Bucks, and guess what? Even though there was proclaimed as the worst offensive line in the league, they still held a lot of teams up. It still held a lot of teams up. They still held up. So any given Sunday, anybody can beat anyone. So I don't want to hear about, it's only the Carolina. It's, only the Carolina Panthers. It's only this. Look, the New Orleans Saints said the same thing. Oh, it's just Atlanta. We're going to beat them. And guess what? We end up going in and pretty much holding them to 9 points. 9 freaking points. So don't give me these excuses about it's only this team, it's only that. Look, man, this is football. These guys play, and they take pride in what they do. Everyone is a football player. Every one of these guys on the field has some talent. All right, this is why they're in the NFL. They are the best of the best. So when you look at the Atlanta Falcons secondary, man, they did a wonderful job holding Carolina in check. And Kyle Allen, he's a young quarterback. He's going to make mistakes, but you still got to play, man. We've seen the Atlanta Falcons lose to teams that they shouldn't. We've seen the Atlanta Falcons get destroyed by quarterbacks that they shouldn't. So you can't use that against them and for them. You can't use it against them and for them. All right. So when it all comes down to it, man, players are players. You make plays. Doesn't matter who it's against. You gotta make plays. And if you make plays, look, your boy Mad Mike is going to highlight you. And Vic Beasley, Tack McKinley, Devondre Campbell, he's doing a wonderful job. As far as they're doing a wonderful job keeping his ass out of coverage. That's for one damn thing. All right, they're doing a wonderful job of keeping his ass out of coverage. We don't want Devondre Campbell in coverage. All right, even on the play where DeMonte Case got the interception, Campbell was beat. And he ended up dropping the ball, which kind of fell in Casey's hands. So, look, man, it fell our way, but we do not want Devondre Campbell in coverage. And the Falcons are doing a wonderful job of keeping him out of coverage for the most part. So, when you look at it, the 3 keys, man, 3 things that stood out to me is the Atlanta Falcons balance. Dirk Koetter did a wonderful job with the balance with the Atlanta Falcons. The second one, short intermediate routes, got Devontae Freeman involved in the short intermediate routes and gave the defense something else to think about. Besides giving the ball to Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, it gave the defense something else to think about. And that's something that's been missing out of the Atlanta Falcons arsenal. The offense is getting running backs involved and the short yardage, short intermediate route. So the third one is the secondary. DeMonte Case is making plays, man. He continued to impress. I think the Atlanta Falcons really have a special player in DeMonte Case. I really love what I saw from DeMonte Case, man. And he's going to continue to improve. What I want him to do going into the offseason is to truly take this serious. I believe the Falcons have something special with him, and he will, in fact, become one of the better safeties in the league if he continues to play, if he continues to take his job seriously, his position seriously in the offseason, working with guys like, Earl Thomas and all these type of guys, the best safeties in the game. So let me know what you guys think about this, man. These are 3 things that stood out to me with the Atlanta Falcons. Your boy, man, Mike is out, man. Peace.
Whipping the Princess Diana, double cup bling found her. Oh my.